Hey fellow Rockhounders, it has been a few months. I hope you all are doing absolutely wonderful. If you're not aware, last week we had king tides come through, and what a king tide is when the high tides are really high and the low tides are really low. So our high tides, when I was checking, were reaching as high as 6 feet, and then the low tides were as low as -2 feet. So it was absolutely phenomenal. The high tides were so high. I actually going to Ponto Beach. If you've seen my videos, that's the beach that's just like full of pebbles. I could not get up on the mounds of rocks because the waves were actually coming over those mounds and it was creating water pools, which I'll show you right here. So it was keeping me off the rocks. But the cool thing about the high tides is they brought up some things that I've never seen before, as far as shells. Usually when I find shells on the beach, they're very broken because they've been crushed by all the rocks and everything else. But I've been finding some of the biggest shells. As a matter of fact, this is one of them. This is a turban shell, and they are absolutely massive. So as we collect them, the most important thing that we look at is that they are in fact empty. I have found live ones, which you may see on today's video. And I always make sure to get those back into the water because we want to take care of them. So again, we have some amazing shells, huge shells, washing up on the beach. So in today's video, in addition to our rock hounding, we're going to look for shells and as well as sea glass. So I've been finding more sea glass than I have ever found on our beaches as well. So the high tides have really stirred up a lot. It has been fantastic. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go out later today when the high tide starts to come down. So once it starts moving down into low tide, then we'll make our way out there because by then the water will have moved itself off the beach enough for us to really explore everything that it washed up from the day. But the goal is to get out there before everyone else does. That way we can collect the best of the best. So awesome, y'all. Let's go hounding. All right, so we are back from today's trip and we found so much amazing stuff. So we will get this all laid out so we can see everything that we found. And then I will get the rocks that I found wet so that you can see those in detail. And then I also, on the way home, went to the dollar store and found these really cool little glass vases. And this back here are my findings from the last week alone. So when I tell y'all that I have been finding all kinds of shells, I mean all kinds of shells, so many of them, and the sea glass and everything back there. So what we're gonna do is take those, because right now I just have them in these little mason jars, and we're going to put them in these super cute little vases. Again, I got them at the dollar store, so they were just like $1.25 each. So I can't wait to put them in there. I think they're going to look absolutely amazing. The mason jars just cannot hold all the stuff that we have been finding. So I'm excited to get those transferred over. And then I got this little basket here because these turbans are massive, and just kind of comparing them to the size of those vases, like there's no way they're fitting in there. Especially this one here, it's the biggest one, and it literally can't even go in. Okay, so what we found is we have all of our scallops here, some absolutely massive ones, just so y'all can see the size of that. Scallops, I always find them kind of chipped. They're a very fragile sort of shell. So with those rocks on the beach, they get chipped a lot. Then over here we have the California frog shells. So we found a few of those. Again, this is one of the best ones that I have ever found. Normally I find them with the tops chipped off of them, like you see here. So it was really cool to find a very big one and it all intact. So we have those shells here, even down to a little baby one. And it's funny because you can see these little holes. I learned that these are drill holes from other snails. So they drill through the shell in order to get to the critter inside and eat the critter. So just an interesting fact there. I'm not sure what these are, so I'm really just starting to learn the different types of shells. But these are absolutely beautiful. They're huge. And again, it's just one of those types of shells where I normally find them with the tip broken off. I haven't found one in whole yet, so hopefully in the future. And then we have all of our shark eyes. So these here, all of these little ones, and this one is big. I found one just about the exact same size yesterday, which is that one there, and they're about the same size, so it's huge. I absolutely love the shark eyes. They are beautiful. And then down here we have dwarf olives. I believe these are a type of fig shell. They're kind of shaped like the figs. I always find them really, really small though. Then we found a couple pieces of sea glass. And then over here, this is a type of cowrie. And it was really cool because I've never found one of these before. So I've seen them before in like stores, but never found one actually on a beach. And then I haven't found the identity of these, but just a couple of the other ones that I found today. And then of course we have our turban shells over here, and another big one from today's hunt. So that was absolutely awesome. So now that is all the shells that we found for the day. Now let's look at my favorite part of everything, which are the rocks. So for our rocks today, everything I found today was a quartz, and they are insanely beautiful, as I imagine. They weren't, not all of them were wet when we found them, but I have a pretty good eye for these now, even when they're dry. So this one is just insanely sparkly. These are always my absolute favorites. And there's different things that cause the sparkles, between mica being included in it, just the way it's tumbled. The other one I found was this one here. This one is really translucent, and if I could get the camera to really pick up the depth that you could see in this, y'all would be just shocked. It looks milky, but that's actually very see-through. And we do have a dog, so his hair keeps showing up. But that is just insanely beautiful. I really wish I could get the camera to pick up that depth for y'all to see that. But that is another absolutely gorgeous quartz. And then of course we found a couple of pieces that are just really clear, just your standard really clear quartz, especially that one, super see-through. So absolutely beautiful. And here's another beautiful orange quartz here. And I'm not exactly sure what's included here. I'm thinking epidote for the green there, but an absolutely gorgeous piece. Another one that's very translucent, if I could get the camera to pick up the depth there. And this one is just insanely gorgeous. Between the pinks and the yellows and the oranges, all throughout the quartz, it is absolutely just gorgeous. It kind of reminds me of a sunrise that you would see in San Diego. So those are all of our findings from today's adventure. Now we are going to transfer all of these. I'll show you all what that looks like once it's done. And I'm super excited to see how this is going to turn out and get those things out of the mason jars. So I will show you that at the end, and then we'll wrap up today's video. And there you have it. So we have everything in their new homes, and it is so beautiful. The shark guys are already to the top, so if I find any more, I'm already gonna have to get more to put those in. And then of course we got our sea glass in here. These are just a mixture of the different ones that come to a point, my little pointy ones. And then what I believe are little figs. So that is that there. And then we have this one here. And these are just all my little oddballs. So the cowrie, the some of my sand dollars that I found in the past, barnacles, and some top snails, and I think these are just like some little worms that create these crazy little things. We actually find these a lot on the turbans, and they'll create, like you can see here, they'll start creating little tunnels on the turbans and stuff like that. Just to show y'all how tiny I find these. Right, so earlier in the video you saw the other one was literally the size of my hand, where this one's like the size of my pinky. It's tiny. So it's really cool finding all the different sizes. But there y'all have it. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love how this turned out. Go get yourself some glass vases at Dollar Tree. Absolutely worth it. But awesome, y'all. Thank you for joining me on today's adventure. It was so much fun, and if you haven't yet, like and subscribe, and join me on the future ones as well. Bye y'all.